Be'ezrat Hashem, tonight we're going to do the final show, the final part, the third part of Eshet Chayil, to understand who's Eshet Chayil. And just before I start, I would like just to go quickly about what we spoke about the previous showing. We explained that Eshet Chayil is a mizmor that been written by Shlomo HaMelech in the book of Mishle in the last chapter, chapter 31. In chapter 31, verse 10 to verse 31, okay, there from verse 10 to verse 31, there is explained that there he wrote Eshet Chayil, and we explain according to the Midrash on Eshet, on Midrash on Mishle, who's Eshet Chayil. So the first, we say that the first one speak about Sarah Imenu, then it speak about Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Imenu, and then we say that it's speaking about Batia, the daughter of Pharaoh. After that, we say that it's speaking about Yochevet, the mother of Moshe Rabbeinu, and then it speak about Miriam, and then it speak about Hannah, that Hannah was one of the mother of Yonah. We speak about Yael, and then we speak about the widow from France. France, we explain, is a city in Sidon, right in the north of Israel, where is Lebanon today. Then we explain that also Rahab was among those righteous women, Bathsheba, and then it speak about Michal, the mother of Shimshon, that's Tzlalfonit. And we end up last week that the final one that we brought so far, it was Elisheva Bat Aminadab. That was the wife of Aharon. And today we reach to letters number Pei. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to start looking at the Eshet Chayil. And in letters number Pei, it's like this. Where is it? Here. פתחה פיה בחוכמה ותורת חסד על לשונה.
She opens her mouth with wisdom, and a lesson of kindness is on her tongue.
Okay, so before I explain the verse and how is it connected, I would like to first explain what the Midrash says. The Midrash says, Zo isha hachama. That's a wisdom woman. Listen, he doesn't say who she is yet. Listen what he said. Shedibra el Yoav, that she spoke to Yoav. Yoav was the minister of defense of David HaMelech, King David. She'etzila et ha'ir, that she saved the city with her wisdom. Vezo Serach bat Asher. And that Serach, the daughter of Asher. Wait, David HaMelech and Serach bat Asher, Yaakov Avinu have 12 sons. One of them was Asher. Asher have a daughter, Serach. Look how long she lived, and we'll explain now what's happening here. She lived for many, many years. What's happening here? Serach bat Asher married to live for long life for the simple reason. After the brothers found out that Yosef, a tzaddik, is alive, and he lives in Egypt, when they come, they didn't know how to give him the message. So Serach bat Asher said, don't worry, guys, I'll help you. She took the violin, and she was playing with the violin and singing. And Hazal said that in her song, she said, Od Yosef high, Od Yosef high, and she used to play with the violin. And slowly, slowly, the words start penetrating to her grandfather, mine. And he couldn't understand. And he asked her, what are you talking about? And Serach bat Asher, that played the violin, said to him, you know your son Yosef? He said, yes. You know that he's still alive? He said, what are you talking about? Yes, he's still alive. And slowly, slowly, Sarah managed to give him that message. And after she gave him that message, she brought his life back. Yaakov Avinu said, in the merit of that, I'll bless you that you live for many years. And that's how she lived until even David HaMelech. You know how many years later that? You can't believe it. That's in the time of the king. So what's happened in this verse, that Hazal actually connecting Serach bat Asher to be one of the Eshet Chayil, to be one of the righteous women in a Jewish history. How did they come to it? So first of all, what's happening here? Hazal tell us that David HaMelech, during the time of David HaMelech, when he was a king, it was a revolution. And David HaMelech going to stop the revolution that started by his son Avshalom. He had a son Avshalom that caused him a bit of chorus. And when he was there, he needed to stop it. So when he came back, he didn't come back from one revolution, okay? Immediately, another revolution started. As he walked into the city, another revolution started by a person that Hazal call him actually Ish Belial. Ish Belial is a cursed person, okay? It's actually a wicked person. And Hazal say, who was it? Sheva ben Bichri. And Sheva ben Bichri blow the shofar and he start cursing David HaMelech. Cursing David HaMelech. David HaMelech didn't even finish one revolution. Another revolution started as he arrived to the city. David HaMelech immediately appoint Yoav and Avishai. And Ishai, sorry, not Avishai, Ishai. Okay? And he said to him, we have to stop that revolution immediately. Otherwise, it will never end up. I can't cope with it anymore. We need to put a stop to it. So when that's happened, what happened? Yoav immediately start chasing him, and Shimei ben Gera immediately start flooding. Where did he flood? He fled to a city that's called Avla bat Ma'acha. That's the name of the place. And he hid there inside the city. And Serach bat Asher, that was already old, and she see what's happening. The next thing she see that there is, riders coming, and on top of them is Yoav. And she know that Yoav was the Ministry of Defense of David HaMelech. And he come with soldiers, and they put the entire city in a siege. And she climbed up to the top of the wall, and she said, listen, what's happening here? She said, where's Yoav? And Yoav saw her, and she said to him, tell me, why did you come to kill the entire member of the city? And Yoav said, no, Has v'shalom, we didn't come to kill the member of the city. We are chasing about a person that he tried to cause a revolution against the men, and that's who we want. Okay, that's fine. So Rahav said to him, tell me, if I bring you his head, will you accept it? He said, yeah, no problem. So, sorry, Serach bat Asher. Serach bat Asher gone to the member of the city, the head, and she spoke to all the people that was in charge, the mayor at that time. And she said to him, listen, there is outside a big army, the army of David. They're putting us on siege, and they're soon going to penetrate. And they don't want no one of us. They want that person that cursed David and managed to run Shimei ben Gera. So she said, okay, what does he want? He said he wants, and I promise him that we're going to give him his head. If we throw it over the wall, he's going to leave, and he's going to leave us alone. She managed to convince the entire people that in charge in a city that they have to kill him. They took him, they chopped his head. What happened? The Hazal tell us that Serach bat Asher took the head and threw it over the wall. And when Yoav saw it, he took his shofar and he blew the trumpet to sign of peace, and they left the city. That means that they didn't harm anyone. They wanted the one that tried to cause a revolution in the time of David HaMelech. That's the story regarding Sarah. Until here's the story. How is the verse started? Piha patha bechokma. What it means, Pia patha bechokma. Hazal tell us that when Sarah bat Asher, she was the one, she was, just mute because I can't hear myself. So Sarah bat Asher, what has she done? By that she opened her mouth and she spoke to who? She spoke to Yoav. Pia patha bechokma. She opened her mouth with wisdom. If she wouldn't talk, the entire city would be wiped off. So Hazal said, Pia patha bechokma. That means that she opened her mouth and she asked Yoav, why did you come to the city? Why do you want to kill all of us? What's so important here that you want to kill us? So when Yoav explained to her, what did she say? Turat Hesed al Leshona. By that she managed to say to Yoav, listen, we're going to bring you that person that tried to cause the coup in the time of David, Turat Hesed al Leshona. Mazeh Hesed is kindness. By that she spoke to Yoav, and she brought the head of Shimei Ben Gera, that she threw his head over the wall. That means that she done kindness to entire city of Avla bat Maacha. Hazal say. So Hazal say, you know who's a Eshet Chayil? Is a woman like Serach bat Asher, that she have wisdom. Pia patha bechokma. She opened her mouth with wisdom. V'torat chesed al leshona. That means that even when she spoke, she have kindness. The kindness that she done with the city where she lived, that's called Avla bat Maacha. That's the name of the city. So Hazal say, you know who's Eshet Chayil? Serach bat Asher. All what she done, that she saved the entire city, Chas v'shalom, to be killed. Why? Because Shimei ben Gera decided to run and to hide in her city. By that she spoke to Yoav, and she explained to him that the member of the city actually doesn't giving him a place to stay. He just fled to the city and he find somewhere to hide. We're going to bring him to you and we're going to throw his head over the wall. By that, she done kindness with all the members of the city, Hazal explained. So from here we see something very interesting, Hazal say, that Serach bat Asher herself managed to do complete kindness. How did she done the kindness? She done the kindness, but that she opened her mouth with wisdom. Let's move now to latest tzaddik, and let's start with this verse. Tofia halichot beta, velechem atzlut lo tochel. Mark, will you unmute yourself? Mark, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. She anticipates the way of her household and partakes not of the bread of laziness.
Let's see who's that Eshet Chayil. So the Midrash tells us, Zot Eshet Ovadia. Ovadia was a prophet, and Hazal tells us in the Midrash that that was his wife, the wife of Ovadia. What is the Midrash saying? Zo Eshet Ovadia, she'etzila et baneha, velo avdu avodah zara im Ahav. That means Hazal say that the verse tzaddik that speak about who? The wife of Ovadia. That she saved her kids. And we have to understand what's kids. It's not so simple because she have only one. So which other kid? We'll explain just now. But before I will explain that, I have to explain what the Midrash say. The Midrash say that the wife of Ovadia saved her kids from worshipping and working as a slave in the house of Ahav, that was the king of Israel in that time, and he was worshipping idols. And the story goes like this. Chazal tell us that when Ahav was a wicked person, he was the king of Israel, and he decided that he gonna kill all the prophets in Israel. So what happened? When Ovadia saw that, Ovadia the prophet saw that, he decided that he gonna take all the prophet and he gonna hide them inside a cave, and he gonna basically support them financially. He gonna make for them food. He gonna look after them. So what is Obadiah? Obadiah put them in a cave and make sure that he provide them with all what they need. He supported them. So Obadiah, after a while, the money finished. He didn't have any more money. So what has he done? Listen to that. He gone and took a loan from Ahab. Ahab, the king of Israel. And with that money, he said, I'm going to support those prophets, and we'll see what I can do. What happened? Suddenly, Obadiah done. Hazal said that his wife gone to the prophet, okay, and the next thing, she hear that now Ahab wants his money back, okay? She have no problem paying him his money, but she didn't have, because after all, her husband took a loan. So what is going to happen? So Ahab came and said to her, I want my money. You know, your husband borrowed from me some money, and now I want the money back. Listen, I want money back. And if not, he said to her, I will take your child and I'm going to put him to be a slave. And she knows a slave where at the Ahab's obviously idol worshiping. What has she done? Hazal said that she gone and she started screaming to Elisha Navi that Ahab, the wicked, planning to take who? To take his son to worship idol in his house, and you have to help me. Okay. So the prophet asked her, what do you have at home? Tell me, what do you have at home? She said, I have only one jug of oil. He said, no problem. Go to all your neighbor and borrow empty jugs. And I promise you that that jug of oil that you have will never going to be empty. Okay, she done. The prophet said she done. She gone, she borrowed a lot of vessel from her neighbor, and people wanted to, and she started selling the oil. People want, she used to pour, and the jug that she had, only one jug, never stopped. She fill up, and then she got money, and obviously she paid the loan that she had to pay to who? To Ahab HaRasha. What happened? By the way, I'll tell you a story later on that happened with, I'll tell you a story about a battle that never ended up. And it's a story that happened in our time, not long time ago. So what happened? Hazal say by that she paid Ahab, and his son that obviously was supposed to be taken by Ahab, she saved him. Okay, so she saved her son. Hazal tell us something very interesting. Listen to that. That Tzofiyah Halichot Beita that we say in Eshet Chayil, that's the wife of Obadiah. How? By that she saw the future. She saw the future that Ahab HaRasha, Ahab, the wicked Ahab, gonna take who? Her son. Because her husband, Obadiah, the prophet Obadiah, borrowed from her money, from Ahab HaRasha. He wanted to take a son who? To worship idol. She immediately gone and she screamed to Elisha. And Hazal said not only to Elisha, she gone to the cemetery. And in the cemetery, she used to scream to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that this is the prophet that you're talking. He's a tzaddik. He was the first tzaddik. And come Elisha and said to her, which tzaddik you talking? He said that the tzaddik, you know, my husband, Obadiah, that he makes sure that all the prophets are going to be hidden, that Ahab wouldn't kill them. That's who I want you to help. So Hazal said, Tzofiyah Halichot Beita, that she saw the future, what's going to happen to her kids. The Torat Chesed Aleshona. What does it mean, Torat Chesed Aleshona? That she made kindness by begging and speaking to Elisha until he given her the promise that the jug of oil that she had will never end. That's Eshet Chayil. That means that the Eshet Chayil that the speaking here in that verse said Midrash, we're speaking about the wife of Obadiah. Why? Because the wife of Obadiah had so much wisdom that she saw what's going to happen. Now, that my husband borrowed the money from a Havarasha, I have no problem paying the money, or him I have to pay. But if I'm not going to pay him, because I don't have the money, he's going to take my kids, Has v'shalom, and turn them to idol worshippers, and they're going to be slaves. So that was the wisdom. And Hazal says something very interesting. You know what Hazal said? Torah Chesed Aleshona, that the word that she spoke to Elisha Navi, the prophet Elisha, it was with those words she made kindness to a family. And that's Eshet Chayil. So what's hiding behind it? Hazal say that here Shlomo HaMelech shows us another character trait of a woman like the wife of Obadiah. That number one, she knows that she is in a problem. She never stopped. She never gave up. She doesn't have money. She gone to the prophet. The prophet, she asked him, you obligated to help me because my husband helped all the prophets. I want from you help. And he did. And with a word of kindness, she saved her kids from worshiping idols. So the Midrash say that here Shlomo HaMelech in Sefer Mishle, book of Mishle, because that's where Eshet Chayil come from, speaking about who? The wife of Obadiah Navi. Now I promise I'm going to tell you a story with a battle that never finished. All of you here heard about the Baba Sali. Baba Sali is the Rabbi Israel Abu Hatzera. He used to live in Netivot, in the south of Israel. And he was a great, great mystical rabbi. And tzaddik, like before, you don't understand, a great tzaddik. And many people that ever gone to get advice that have Taurus witness a miracle that never happened. The Baba Sali is well known with his battles of Arak. He have a battle of Arak that he used to give to people to drink, and it never used to end. And Hazal, the witness, saw it. And I know that I have a friend that his father was there on that occasion. Listen to that. And he told me the story, and I heard it, that there was few people came to him, close to 18, 20 people were sitting around him, if I'm not mistaken on the number. And they have a battle of Arak. Arak is, I don't know how you say it in English. I think that's, I don't know what's the name. Mark, you know better than me. How do you say Arak in Hebrew?
Arak. Is Arak. Arak, yeah.
Okay, so it's a battle.
It's not well known out of the Middle East.
Okay, so it's
a spirit.
Sorry?
It's alcohol spirit.
Yeah, it's
It's
alcohol
an alcohol spirit.
Yes, it's alcohol spirit.
It has the flavor,
made from
of licorice.
That tastes like licorice, yeah.
Yeah.
The chief one for Pan in Israel.
So what is he done? Listen to that. Everyone that have a normal glass like this. So a normal glass, it's 200 ml. How much there is in a bottle? 750. Less than 4 cups, it's finished. He took the bottle, listen to that, Rabotai. He wrapped it that you can't see what there is inside. And he told his shamash, he said, pour to everyone. 1 glass, 2 glass, 3 glass, 4 glass, 5, 6. And it's never stopped. 1 round. Everyone drinking. Another round. Never stopped. The same like Kadashem. And people that was there, telling a story that with that he used to drink, that's how he makes the miracle. And people, when they come, said when they left, they saw miracle in their own eyes. He said, guy there, listen to that. The Baba Sali hardly talk. He hardly talk. He used to speak with codes. A guy came to him and he said that he's very, very sick. And he was crying. He was a Rosh Yeshiva, if I'm not mistaken. And he couldn't talk. The Baba Sali gave him a glass of arak. He said, drink. He drank one. He said, another one, drink. He drank the second one. But the third one, he became red, you know, like a tomato. Finished the third one. He said, drink now the fourth one. The Rosh Yeshiva knew that if he drank the fourth one, he's flat out. But the Baba Sali said, drink, I'm drinking. He poured the 4 glasses. Listen to that. And he drank. He knew that now he can't even walk through the doorstep. You're laughing, but listen. The Baba Sali said to him, drink now cup number 5. He looked at that. And he poured cup number 5, 200 more. That's already now, we're talking about a liter. He said, you see the Baba Sali sit like this? That always the Baba Sali used to sit like this. That was his. He said to him, now number 6. What? Number 6. He said, I'm already drunk. Let me finish. What difference it make? Number 7. Suddenly the Baba Sali do like this, lift up his eyes, smile to him. He said, you're not sick, there is nothing. Those words, short words. That was the message. Short words, listen. He said to him, you can go home. So now the guy have to go home. You know, it's 1.5 liter of arak, you know, it's a lot. No problem, he going. He walked outside. He was red and he felt a bit air, you know. The following morning, he said, gone. He gone to the doctor. He said, nothing wrong with you. All the x-ray that we see, it's disappeared. I don't know how to explain to you, but we can't see that you have cancer. It's not normal, the doctor said to him. He said, come sit on my table. And he showed him the first set of, what do you call it, of x-ray that they had, and the second, the last one. He said, look at the difference. So he said to him, I need to tell you, doctor, I need to tell you something. I'm a Rosh Yeshiva. And when you told me that, I couldn't understand what's happening in my life. My life crumbled. I go into the Baba Sali. And I said to him, this is the story. And I was in pain and agony. And the Baba Sali told me. And he said, drink the arak. Give me 7 glasses of arak. 1.5 liter. He said, I don't know what he done. But I'm telling you, he penetrated heaven. And Akadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hashem, cure me. He davened for me. That's all I can tell you. What the arak done, I don't know. All he told me to say She'akol Niya Bidvaro, and he put his head like this, and he never spoke. Every time that I finish, he'd say like this. Another one, and another one. And the cancer disappeared. This is a little story that happened when? Just a few years ago, 40 years ago, in Eretz Israel. And people witness it. It's all written. What I'm telling you, it's written. It's not something that no one knows. That's the Baba Sali. So Kal Vachomer, when the wife of Obadiah, when she'd gone to the prophet, and he said to her, listen, you have a jug of oil? No problem. Go bring more empty vessel, and that jug of oil that you have will never stop. That we see how tzaddikim. Let's move on to let us cook. קמו בניה ויאשרוה, בעלה ויהללה.
Her children arise and praise her, her husband, and he lauds her.
Here the Midrash say, זו השונמית, שנקראה אישה גדולה, וזכתה משום שנתנה לאלישע. What's happening here? Very interesting. We spoke on one of the haftarot that we spoke about the Shunamit, Aisha Shunamit. Shunam was a city. In Shunam was a city, and there was a great woman, Hazal say, a Shunamit, Aisha Shunamit they call her. What happened there? Aisha Shunamit, she was barren. She didn't have kids. And she and her husband have a house, and they have 3 walls inside the property. And in the property, that where there was, they have, sorry, there's some noise in the background. I'm just muting everyone. So they have a small place, and in that small place, it was 3 walls. And that woman said to her husband, listen, there is a righteous man coming to our city. Let's make it, finish to build it. It's almost 3 walls. All you have to do is just add up a small, put a door and a small wall, and he can sleep there. And we bring into our house a holy man. And that was Elisha Navi, the prophet Elisha, because Elisha used to go from one city to another city. And we explain in the Haftarah that she said to her husband, don't worry, I can keep my eyes not looking at the prophet, because Elisha, whoever looked at him, Lo Alenu, would die, because Elisha was so pure that he had a veil over his face. So they said to Elisha, come stay in our house. We're gonna make sure that we will support you, provide you with food and everything. And that's what's happened. His servant Gehazi, he had a servant Gehazi, okay, that wasn't so nice man, told the prophet, listen, this woman, she's a barren, she doesn't have kids. So what happened? Elisha Navi davened to the Almighty, and she got a son, okay? And she, after a while, she had a child, and that child that she had grown up a little bit. He was a few years, and suddenly he passed away. Not even a few years, he passed away. It was a few months, if I'm not mistaken, what the pasuk said. I don't remember. And the child died. What did she do? The Shunamit. She took a blanket, wrapped off her baby, and she took the baby with her, and she gone to the prophet. And she said to him, look, this is my son. He's dead. Bring him alive. The prophet looked at her, he took the baby, and Hazal said that he davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the child survived. That's the Isha Shunamit. Okay? And the prophet Elisha brought him back alive. That means first miracle, Rabotai, listen. First miracle, she didn't have kids. She was a barren. Second miracle, after that child born, he died. He brought him alive. So Hazal say, Kamu banea ve'yasherua. Which children are you talking? It's only one. You have only one son. What are you talking about, children? Hazal say that actually by that he gave her the first son that he davened for him that she will deliver a son, he died. Then he brought him back alive. That means second time. That means 2 sons. Although that it's the same body, okay, but he brought him alive. So Hazal said by that he davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and brought him back, done the resurrection of the dead for that son. That's Baneha. That Baneha, Kamu Baneha ve'asherua. that her kids praised her. Ba'ala ve'hallela, her husband, the husband of the Shulamit, when he saw that it was so stubborn, okay, that the act that she done, that she never said, listen, the child is died, that's it. No, she never gave up. He saw that she gone because him himself, the husband, done nothing. He accepted the verdict. But the Shulamit, no, she didn't accept it. She took the baby, raped him, and she gone to the prophet. And he said, I want my son alive. I want you to bring my son that you pray. I want you to bring him back. I want you to do the resurrection of the dead. And he done. And that the husband praised her for her stubbornness, that she saved their son. And from here, we learn something very important. That's why Hazal call her Haisha Gdola, the big woman. That sometimes you see that stubbornness is not a bad thing. What Shlomo HaMelech Hazal say come to teach us that sometimes you see a woman, you see a wisdom of a woman. What is the wisdom of a woman? Hazal and Gemara tell us that Isha mekira ba'orchim. Isha mekira ba'orchim. What does it mean? Hazal say that a woman have a very, very, what do you call it? Infrared eye. When it's come to visitors, she immediately can sense who's a good visitor, who's not, Hazal say, in most cases. When the Isha Shunamit saw that the prophet Elisha come to the town, she immediately approached her husband and she said to him, this man is a holy man. He must stay in our house. And I promise you that I will never look at his face. So you don't have to worry that something going to happen to me. From here, you see what is the Eshet Chayil, that she had a long sight to look further, to look forward. Not only that, she approached him and she given him a place, and that merit, she merited to have what? A son. Not only that, she, in her stubbornness, when she saw that her child died, she was so stubborn and devoted. She'd gone to the prophet and she said, you're going to bring me my son. You're going to bring me that son. Because you're a prophet. You are a righteous man. And compared to us, we are wicked. So this decree came to us because you're righteous and we wicked. You have to do something. Daven to you, the Almighty. If you're going to daven to the Almighty, you can bring him alive. And she put so much pressure, Hazal said, that she brought her son back to life. That means that's a Eshet Chayil, that the stubbornness was for a good cause, not just to be stubborn for the sake of stubborn. Sometimes we see people that are very stubborn with no seichel. But here, her husband praised her for her stubbornness. And come Shlomo HaMelech, say Hazal, and tell us, you know what is a Eshet Chayil? It's a woman that, number one, see to the visitors. Number two, she brought a holy man to her house. So the bracha penetrated into the house. When the bracha penetrated into the house, they managed to have a child. For many years, she was a barren. Not only that she have a long sight to see and not to give up, that child not going to die. And that's what Shlomo HaMelech said. This is a kind of a Eshet Chayil. The next three verses that it's that we have, it's Resh, Shin, Taf. I'm going to read them because it's speaking about one woman. Rabot banot asu chayil, ve'at alit al kulana. Sheker, hachen, vehevel hayofi. Isha yirat Adonai, hi tithalal. תנו לה מפרי ידיה והללוה בשערים מעשיה. בכבוד, Mark, just unmute yourself, sorry.
Many daughters have amassed achievement, but you surpass them all. False is grace, and vain is beauty. A God-fearing woman, she should be praised. Give her the fruits of her hand, and let her be praised in the gates by her very own deeds.
So Hazal say, the Midrash and Hazal say, Zorut. You know who's these three verses? Referring to Ruth HaMoabiyah, Ruth the Moabite. And Hazal says, that she merit to convert and become under the wing of the Almighty. Hazal continued, say, Sheniha ima avia v'oshra v'ba im hamata v'kibla kol hamitzvot. Hazal say that she left behind her mother, her father, her wealth. Listen to that, because we'll explain now who was Ruth. V'ba im hamata, she came with her mother-in-law, and she merited to receive all the 600 mitzvot. And there in the Midrash, Hazal say what was those mitzvot. And then the Midrash continue and say, what's the end? Ha'hazek b'musar, shimru Torah v'tinatlu mi'yetzer hara. Hazal say, keep listening to Musar. If someone give you Musar, I don't know how you say Musar in English. Mark, how you say Musar in English? Rebuke.
No, I think Musar is more advice.
Yeah, but it's Musar is not just advice that you give. You say, you're telling him where he's wrong. I don't know how you say Musar. באמת שאני לא יודע, never. I know how to say it.
I'm not sure in English.
So, Hazal say,
rebuke, Musar, rebuke.
Rebuke, okay, Orna say rebuke, להקפות, okay, בסדר, תודה רבה, Orna, thank you.
I hope I'm right.
Hazal says, Shimru Torah, and keep the mitzvot. And that will help you to be careful and save you from the evil inclination. That's Hazal for these three verses. Okay, what is it speaking about? We have to understand. As a matter of fact, Hazal say that not only those last three verses speaking about Ruth, they say that, as a matter of fact, I see Eitan said that rebuke is tochacha. Okay, tochacha, בסדר, אותו דבר. Hazal say that, as a matter of fact, that all the three, all Eshet Chayil, Shlomo wrote it about his grandmother. Who? Ruth. What's happened? Hazal explained something extraordinary, what's happened with Shlomo HaMelech, that made him to write this for Ruth. How did they connect it to Ruth? And we have to understand, first of all, who was Ruth? Ruth was a princess, a Moabite princess. And Ruth came from a very rich house. She was a princess. She had everything that she wanted. Everything that she needed, she had. She didn't have to have a moment of suffering. But we explained, when we explained the book of Ruth, that after her husband died, she left everything. She left her parents, she left her mother, and she stuck by Naomi, her mother-in-law. And Naomi, by that time, from being a rich woman, become poverty, completely poverty. Okay, she didn't have nothing. And Ruth stuck by her mother-in-law, and she had so much willpower. And she said, I will never leave that mother-in-law. And she stuck by her like the righteous woman that there is in a Jewish religion. And Hazal said that all of this, Eshet Chayil actually speak about one woman. That's Ruth, that never gave up. She was willing to give all her wealth that she had as a princess, to be poor, to leave everything behind her, just to stick by a mother-in-law to become a Jewish. And she never gave up, although that she walked barefoot, like we know. Her clothes was their clothes. When they came to Bethlehem, they looked at them like two poor women. And then she have to go to what is his name? To the field, okay? And
Boaz.
what's
Boaz.
yeah. She have to go, thank you. She have to go to Sdeh Boaz. And it's Sdeh Boaz. She have to pick up what's left, what they forget. Leket, shehecha, and pe'ah. Like a poor woman. And she have to bring it to who? To her mother, and from that to make a little bit of bread. She left everything behind her. Hazal say, here you see the stubbornness and the willpower to stick to the Jewish religion. That the Jewish religion was so important to her that you can't believe. And that's what is the Eshet Chayil. Another explanation that the Mefarshim bring, that's beyond understanding. Why did Shlomo HaMelech wrote Eshet Chayil to his grandmother? Hazal tell us a story like you can't believe. Listen to that. Shlomo HaMelech, as you all know, married 1,000 women. And the secret behind it, that he married Gentile women, because he took all the princes and he wanted to marry those princesses. You know why? To convert them to Yiddish, to Jewish. And once that they convert, he's going to rectify all the world and not going to be any more idol worshiping. That was his idea. But unfortunately, he married the daughter of Pharaoh. That actually, she managed to mislead him. Hazal say that Shlomo HaMelech built the first temple. We all know, Bet HaMikdash. And he had the key. And every morning, Shlomo HaMelech used to wake up first, go open the Bet HaMikdash. For the Kohanim to start get ready, to make everything ready, you know. One morning, after he finished to build Bet HaMikdash, the Kohanim waiting. Bet HaMikdash not open. Where is the king? We don't know. Now we need to start. Listen, Bet HaMikdash have a time, you know. We need to start do Korban HaTamid. What are we going to do? You know what? Who's going to wake up the king? You know, they're always afraid. So what they done? They gone to his mother, Bathsheba, and she said, listen, the Bet HaMikdash, we can't penetrate. Why you can't penetrate? It's locked. So why don't wake up the king? He said, no, we don't want chorus with the king. What do you mean you don't want chorus with the king? I'm going to go. She walked to his house, Hazal said, and she slammed the door. She opened the door, and she see him sleeping. She said, you sleeping, my son? And whap, giving him what a plap on his head, wow, on his face. Wake up. You're such a lazy. Your father used to wake up at midnight. David HaMelech say. Now everyone gonna say, look at his father. Father used to wake up at midnight. Look at that son. He's waking up when? Late. He's a king. Everyone gonna blame me. And you wake up late. She given him a musar like you can't believe. She gave him such a musar. Hazal say another idea happened with that. When she walked to the room, she saw that the room is very dark. She looked at the curtain, and the curtain was black, and it showed on it star and moon. So she said to him, what's happening here? You know, outside, the bird already finished to brush their teeth. What are you awake? Why are you not awake? He said, I wake up, but I saw that there is star and moon. I was thinking that, he said, that's your wife, huh? You took Bat Paro. And she given him Musa. She said to him, learn from your grandmother. You wanted to rectify the world by taking all the Gentile women to convert the world. Instead, They managed to influence you. One woman influenced you. But look at your grandmother. That was a princess, Ruth. She never been influenced with all the goodness that she had, and you sleeping. So Hazal said that Bathsheba given him what a musa, that he learned from here what is the Eshet Chayil. And he wrote the Eshet Chayil for his grandmother, Ruth. That she come from the outside, that means not as a Jewish, converted to religion, and with her way, everyone follow her. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu merit her that from her descendants will be the king. Who was the first king? David HaMelech. Who was the second king? Shlomo, his son, from Bathsheba. So Bathsheba said to him, you have to learn from your grandmother. Instead of learning from your grandmother, look how you're behaving. And when Shlomo HaMelech heard that, Hazal said, he wrote the Eshet Chayil for his grandmother. And this verse comes to tell us that we have to learn that what's happened to his grandmother, that he wrote Eshet Chayil. And now we can understand the final image of Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil, it's not a woman just say yes sir, no sir. No, Eshet Chayil is a wife that stand by her husband. Eshet Chayil is a wife that support the children. Eshet Chayil is a wife that discipline the children. Eshet Chayil is a woman that she's stubborn. When she know that something right, she's stubborn. And she do everything in her power to make sure to save her family and her husband, to make sure that her family not going to go off the rail. That's a Eshet Chayil. So you learn from here that stubbornness, it's not a bad thing. Depends how you use it. Eshet Chayil is a woman that sometimes when it's time to provoke or to give a musar, to give it to hacha, she's not shy to do that. Not only to her husband, she can say it also to the kids. Eshet Chayil is a woman that look forward. When she see that danger come to the city, she's already awake. Eshet Chayil is a wife that tried to satisfy not only herself. It's not only about me. It's about my husband. It's about my kids. It's about anything to do with kindness, Hazal say. So from here we learn, if you're going to summarize, what is Eshet Chayil, people will tell you. Pashut. It's not a wife that just say yes sir, no sir. She's not a slave. It's a wife with wisdom. It's a wife that look 10 steps ahead. It's a wife that when it's time to be stubborn, she's stubborn. She's stubborn like a rock. Even when things is difficult, like Samurai Imenu. She stood by Avraham Avinu with all of his journeys. She never left him once. And she was the one to see that the son Yitzhak cannot be with Ishmael. Rivka, that when she comes to the tent of Sarah, she saw the holiness. I don't know that she came from a different background. It doesn't make a difference. I saw what's right, I have to change. And she's not embarrassed. Leah, Rachel, Miriam, Yocheved, everyone. We have even Rahav. We say Rahav was a harlot. You know who she married to Mary? Yoshua bin Nun. Yoshua bin Nun was the second leader that the Jewish people have. He conquered Eretz Israel. Hazal said that from a grandson, Yashvu belishkat hagazit. Look from where she come to where her grandchildren reach. Why? Because when she suddenly realized that she has to do 360 degrees change, no problem. She done it. She didn't embarrass. to admit. That's Eshet Chayil. Not just to be stubborn for no reason. If you done something wrong, she wasn't embarrassed. Eshet Chayil is a woman that will do anything to make sure that she look after her husband, after her kids. And if it's time to be stubborn with reason, no problem, she'll be stubborn. But if she see that she done something wrong, she's not embarrassed to admit it and to change her way. That's Eshet Chayil. And that's what Hazal in the Midrash come to teach us. You know who's really Eshet Chayil? It's not just a woman that say yes, sir, no, sir, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to give it. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see those righteous women that we spoke about in that poem, about that song of Eshet Chayil. And Kadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day, Amen Ken Yeh Ratzon, that we'll see it eye to eyes to see those righteous women. Amen Ken Yeh Ratzon.